Hello, Darklings! So I have been thinking a little too much again because I get trapped in my head a lot. And I was kind of thinking about gods and what they mean. And this is almost entirely brought about because I've been finally getting around to reading American Gods, which was something I started in high school. It didn't click with me at the time and it took me ages to get back to. And this is one of those books that kind of sits with you and makes you think and makes you bothered and everything. And I've loved Neil Gaiman as a writer since I was about 15, and I've been watching the show American Gods as well. And I was kind of thinking about the meanings of gods and what they are and how they come to be and why people respect them so much. And it's kind of strange to me because people keep asking my stance on paganism and my beliefs, and I really hate that people keep asking. It makes me incredibly uncomfortable. I don't like sharing my beliefs that much because it's very personal for me and very unorthodox and not necessarily what other people would subscribe to, so it makes me uncomfortable that people are so nosy. But I was kind of thinking, paganism is a very strange thing for me, partially because I was raised by a bitter former Mormon atheist mother and a father who never talked about religion. And so I had zero concept of following deities as a child. And until I had too much crazy, not quite normal shit happen to me growing up, which I do not want to talk about, by the way, I kind of started investigating the supernatural and the non-rational things in the world because I had weird shit happen. So I started dabbling and started exploring and started researching everything. And so I kind of ended up building this whole interesting concept of what the gods are and what they mean to us. And I love research and I love stories and I love the idea of beliefs. And because of my mom's bitterness towards the LDS church and the bitterness I've encountered from people who have left the church, I have never been big on Judeo-Christian philosophy, specifically Christian philosophy. I've never been big on it. It bothers me intensely. But I got past my hateful atheist phase in high school. And now I'm like, if you believe in it and it makes you at peace and it's good for you, then it's good for you. But don't push it on me because you'll make me irritated. Anyway, but I love stories and I love the gods of other cultures. And so this is just a pile of books. So these are all by Catherine M. Valente. This is Deathless, In the Cities of Coin and Spice, and In the Night Garden. And it's kind of interesting because these are all based off of folk tales, fairy tales, gods, and all these different things that have been very well researched and then turned in her haunting, beautiful, addictive writing style. And so that's kind of an interesting thing to look into. And as a big Neil Gaiman fan, I also do recommend Norse mythology, which I haven't quite had the chance to read yet, but I know a good chunk of the stories. Another reason I don't like talking about paganism is I can remember all of these stories until I'm required to tell them to someone else and I can't remember them for shit. But I mean, all these different gods and all these different pantheons, I'm mostly kind of like Mediterranean and European centric. I don't know that many Eastern philosophies or gods. I just never clicked with me. But I grew up researching these things because the supernatural always has kind of messed with people and presented itself either because it's a psychological delusion that's passed on and you get other people to believe it, or it really does happen. And I don't really think that part's important. I just think it's interesting that what they are and how they come to be and what they mean to people and how it can influence your practices of belief. And part of like general paganism is you end up dabbling in some sorts of mysticism and divination. For example, if you want to divine runes, this is a pretty good start. It's one of the most basic ones. But also in this whole interest in study, and around the age of about 10 or 11, I started studying witchcraft very intently, and then I discovered Wicca, and I tried and decided I hated it. And I didn't like the ideology of Wicca, so I'm not Wicca. It didn't sit well with me. I know it's good for some people, so I tried several things. And then there's other things that I tried dabbling with, like voodoo and hoodoo. And as much as I find it fascinating, I kind of got this unsettling sense it's very much not for me. because I didn't earn it, and there's not anything that I can do to earn it, and there's certain things that I didn't want to go into because they never felt like they were for me. Anyway, this is kind of vague and disjointed, but my whole point, brought up entirely because of this damn book that has ruined many nights' sleep, is gods are just extended metaphors of thought to me. They are both something that's incredibly real and stands only as symbols and aren't real at all. And there's so much both to me that's why I can't place what kind of pagan I might be. Of course, I have my favorite gods and goddesses to read stories about, to hear things about, such as Persephone and Hecate and Odin and Loki and Thoth and Anubis and all these different things that just sort of become a part of my personality. Because all these gods, for all of their celestial power, are still very humanistic in a lot of ways, in the way that a Christian God is not to me. And I like this. They are here, they are us, but they are also greater than us. They have been here, they always will be here. And there's something so human about that concept of belief that I like it. This doesn't necessarily answer questions about my beliefs. Maybe it does. I don't know, because I don't like talking about my wholehearted worship, beliefs, practices. I don't like it because it's personal. And every time I'm asked, I'm really bothered, like I said. But I figured I would share something because I'm always curious what the gods mean to other people, not just to me. And in American Gods, if you have not read this book yet, if you haven't been watching the show, it is the war of the old gods and the new gods. It is the war of the gods of blood and fear and worship and ritual, and the gods of the television, the internet, the media, the psychologists, the cancer, all of the different things that we seem to worship now in a modern age, and how different it is from how it once was, when you would pay your tribute in blood and battle, and you'd go to the gates of Valhalla, and all these different things that are almost antiquated but still resonate in a different way, and how human those gods are compared to these abstract things that we didn't mean to elevate to gods. And it's one of the reasons why, even though the book is 16 years old now, it's still vitally important to me, and I really wish I'd read it sooner. Anyway, food for thought. Till next time, Darklings.